Okay, now that the nut's off, if you just tap it here, put your hand here to catch it. Ah, I'm a little disappointed. Usually that'll pop right out and it'll come flying right out into your hand, right out about here. So I was kind of disappointed that didn't pop out.
But it could have, right?
It could have. Out of here, there's a bearing inside here. We've got to take it out and pack it with grease. Okay, there's a seal here. So people pick at the seal and pry them out, and then I'm going to show you an easy way to get that out. You put the drum back on, put just the nut, no washer, no nothing behind it, and you just put that on a few turns. So that nut's not going to come off, and then you just kind of grab it behind and go, and there it comes. Bearing's in there, and the seal's still in good shape.
That's a little tip and trick from Bruce Fixes Stuff.
Yeah. And then you clean in here, and same on this end. The tapered part is what they call the bearing race, and that's just what they call it. It's not racing, it's just what they call it. Clean this axle. Some people want the grease on the axle. You actually just want the grease on the bearing. Now, if I can find my tub of grease, I'll show you how to grease a bearing. I knew one guy, his way of greasing a bearing is done. But what you want to do, and this is gross and messy, you get a pile of grease like this in your hand, put it in the palm of your hand like that, and you want to hold the bearing and force it through until you see it coming out through the spots here. See it kind of coming out. So you'll force it through repeatedly like that until it comes out. And you wipe off the excess, slop it back into your hand, and keep on going around until you've got grease through it all the way around the bearing. And like I said, if you run out on your hand, you just take it off of there, slop it back in your hand, and keep going. And you want to force that through, and it gets the grease right up into the bearing where you need it. Wheel bearings on newer cars are totally different. Did one on an '08 Impala the other day. Totally different system. They just bolt on as a one-piece unit. Okay, so now we've got that done. Now, we don't want the inside here greasy. We don't want this part to slide on the shaft. This part's supposed to stay on the shaft, and this part spins. Some people like to grease the hell out of the shaft. Not the best plan. You want to keep this staying still and this outer part spinning. Now I got to find a rag and do some wiping down here. Here's one. I don't care that it's been used. This is the larger of the two bearings. This is the inner one. So making sure there's no dirt or grease or anything in there. Well, especially dirt. And you drop that in. And then we take the seal. Too much grease in my hand. Then you put the seal. You can clean the seal off. Some people will put a new one every time, but you don't really need to if the old seal is still in good shape. And then it goes in like that, and you try to tap it in uniformly. You could put like a little block of wood on it and tap it. We'll get to that after. Let's just grease the other bearings because I'm so covered in crap here. I mean grease. Well, pretty much the same thing. Okay. So now we've got that. clean up a little bit, and then we'll worry about putting that in. I'll show you how to do that in a minute.
The reason we took the drum off is because we want to change those wheel cylinders, which means we're going to have to undo some of these springs at the top there at least. So it's a good idea to take a picture or a video to show how the springs are, so that if you forget once you've taken them off, you can put them back on. You don't need to do a video like this. You know, a still picture would do just as well, just like this.
Okay, now we've done new brakes on this side. We initially took this apart just to replace the wheel cylinders on the two front wheels, because on the back side, down here somewhere, there's a bleeder screw. And the bleeder screw broke off, and that means you can't really bleed the brakes. So to take that apart and try to fix it is not practical. Here you can see the wheel cylinder. That's where the brake line goes in with the fluid going in. That's the bleeder screw, or what's left of it after it broke off. They're $23 each. They're not worth fighting with. So anyway, we've got those done, and I noticed that the shoes on this side were totally shot. I replaced the ones on the other side, meant to replace these, never got around to it, and forgot about it. And now when I go to replace them, I can't find the ones for this side. So we've got the new shoes in here now. All the springs, we had to free up the adjuster. The pivot part like this on the other side there was seized in there. We had to take that apart and get that freed up. So that's got to be able to turn properly. So now I've re-greased the bearings just like we did on the other side. And drop that into the hole. And then we take the seal. And again, I'm reusing the seal because it's still in good shape. Put it in as straight as we can. And then you take a block of wood like this. And you lay it across and you tap it in. Using a block of wood allows you to keep it straight when it goes in. I've seen so many people try to bang it in with the hammer around, and it just bends the metal part of the seal that holds it still. So now we put this on. I think the adjustment's okay, but if we have to adjust it, we can. Now, like I said, I've pre-greased the bearings. We've got this little washer. I'll wipe it off so you can see. There's a little groove here and a little slot there, and that groove goes into the slot and goes in like that. And then you put the nut on, and I'm going to show you the old-fashioned way that we used to do it. Rather than get the right wrench or socket. Now you want that snug, like good and snug, and then just back off a hair. Now, this is a castle nut cap, and what you want is for these holes to line up with that shaft so that the new cotter pin can go down through like so. And then, if you notice, there's one end of the cotter pin's a little bit longer than the other, and that makes it nice and easy to grab, and you bend it like so, and you bend this one like so, and you just kind of tap it around like this so that it's out of the way, and then you can put the cap on. And the cap is just a dust cap. It's not meant to do anything more than keep the dust out, really. And now it's back together. Now we just got to put the brake line back on it, and then we can bleed the brakes.